Hey everybody, welcome to the Life to the Fullest podcast. I'm your host, Dan Jason, here with you today, the EF3 Life platform. I'm excited. Why? For two reasons. There's many actually, but it is the season of thanks. It is a season of Veterans Day weekend. This past week, we celebrated it. Salute to our military. Thank you so much for all that you do to keep our freedoms and us safe on the home front. And all the sacrifices that you make, throughout the course of the year, because we aren't able to enjoy everything that we do with our family, our friends, and just exploring, and everything that our beautiful nation, the United States, has to offer comes down to those who sacrifice. So thank you to those men and women who do a great job. And for those also coming from families who might have lost their lives, the loved ones, and our hearts go out to you. Also, it's football season, Buffalo Bills. It's Monday Night Football. Actually, I'm going to need a big victory tonight in the sports realm to try to get back on track. And we're only a month and a half or so away from the new year, 2024, on the brink of a new dawn. And it is beautiful. It's a time. It's the season to get into it and get after it and to close out 2023 on a very strong note. Why? Because the way that we're going to finish is the way that we're going to roll into 2024, and it is a season of dreaming. When I think about Thanksgiving, when I think about the things that I want to express gratitude for, I have to take a look back. And I challenge you today to take a look back, go down memory lane of the last 11 or so months and think about this past year, and then look a little bit further back. Where were you 5 years ago? Or maybe for some of you, even 10 years ago, where are you today, looking at the systems and the ways that you were able to build your life and where you are going. And I am somebody, and you know this, wanting to live in the present moment. Around the holiday season, especially important to really take a deep breath, to put the phone aside, and to be present with people, to give our full attention and to just to be there with them and to enjoy everything that the day has to offer, all the people that are with us, the foods, the delicious pies, all the great things that come with Thanksgiving, the football, and most importantly, the family time. And gathering with friends and just camaraderie and relationships, building on the essential ingredients of life. That's life to the fullest at its best. However, it is super important for us to forward think, to look back and reflect upon the past, so that way we can set ourselves up for the future. Because if you're going to grow, if you're going to become better, if you want to, achieve different levels in your life, and you want to aspire to be more, you have to look back at the past and see where you once were, and then you have to look forward to something in the future. You have to have something to strive for, to aim at, to have a target that's out there. And for many of us, it has to be a stretch goal, right? Something that's hard to obtain, something that we work diligently at. We have to be disciplined. We have to show up every single day. But actually, if you did it every single week, even for just 3 hours, studies say that you could become one of the top 5% in the entire world at that craft, at that particular passion, at that, juncture of your life right now. What do you want to do to get to where you want to be in 2024? If you look and forward project 12 months from now, where are you going to be? And how is it going to compare to where you are today? And I don't think we do enough of looking forward to, because yes, it is important to be present, but sometimes the presence can drown out our goals, our dreams, our destiny. And your destiny is ultimately what you make of it. Yes, there are blessings. God grants us tremendous blessings in our life. We are thankful for that. And this is a season to remember it, absolutely, to count them, to appreciate, to have that attitude of gratitude, and to understand that it does come down from our Creator, who gives us all of these things. And every good and perfect gift is from above, says it in James. But we have to also understand that you are a co-creator with God, and you have something to leave your imprint, not only on this next life, this year of life, but ultimately throughout the course of your lifetime, to leave a legacy. Because it is true what they say about this. And when you think about people who do something great in their life, that heroes are remembered, but legends never die. So how are you going to make your life legendary? How are you going to make it legendary when it comes to your relationships? How are you going to make it legendary when it comes to the things that you're doing with your physical fitness, how you're improving, how you're accelerating, how you're a better version of yourself physically? Because that's something you can completely control in terms of what you're eating and how you're healthy, exercising, moving yourself every single day. What are you going to do in the level of your finances? And that's why I want to talk a little bit about my book, Winning with Money, Dollars and Cents, a comprehensive guide to financial freedom and peace, and advising people when it comes to their finances, because it is so important. Young people today don't have a blueprint. They don't have a set of directions, a roadmap in order to be able to crush their goals, in order to level up their standards, to lay out a game plan to win in this life. Instead, we're on this perpetual cycle, on this hamster wheel, on this treadmill of debt and just swiping our credit card. That's a whole nother conversation that we're going to get into in a little bit. But I want you to first and foremost reflect. Think back Thanksgiving 2022. Where were you at? Who were you? Who was sitting around that table? What were the things that were going through your mind that you were hopeful for in the next year? What were the goals? What were the dreams? What were the, I really want this to happen? The wishes, the desires. And what have you been working diligently at over the course of the last 340 or so days? And maybe there are a couple things. Maybe there's meat left on the bone. Okay? Maybe there's something that you need to take a big bite out of that turkey leg in order to get to where you really want to be in 2024. But it starts right now with this reflection period, with this time in the waiting room and thinking about, okay, I'm going to take a deep breath. I'm going to pause. I'm going to be grateful for this journey, and I'm going to plan where I want to get to. Because the greatest people who succeed in this lifetime are those that plan. The people that are getting after it and rising and grinding every single day. They didn't just, boom, flip a switch. What they did was they looked back at where they were and they decided, I want to get here next. And this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to set up ways in my life to get there. I'm going to, tap into people in my life that can help me and to be a resource and to gain that wisdom to help me to get to that level, because we know we can't do this on our own. It's just like a coach who is teaching or training the athletes on the team, and collectively, yes, they are getting better as a whole group. Our hope is that as a community, as your family unit, the group of your friends, that you are that person that can rally the troops and you can help other people grow and get better. But the only way to do that is if you do that yourself, and they'll fall into suit. They'll see the progress that you're being made. You cannot deny that at any point in time, right? You cannot unsee certain things in your life. So what are you doing today to make sure that that is happening? How are you doing it? And what are the ways that you're going to get there? What are you going to do differently? Oftentimes we want to do the same thing, get different results. That is not going to work. We have to be honest with ourselves. Self-reflection is not always the easiest thing. When you look at yourself in the mirror and you're truthful and honest, it doesn't mean you're beating yourself up, but you're truly honest with yourself. That you see something that you like or you don't like. What are you seeing in your future? Are you seeing someone that's jacked, that's ripped, that's physically fit, that's healthy, that's able to, not only walk outside, but run around with their kids or their grandkids? And you did it because you decided to be disciplined enough to say, hey, it starts here and right now. I'm not going to slide into, this unhealthy lifestyle during the holidays. Yes, I'm going to enjoy myself, but I'm not going to go overboard. But instead, I'm going to understand what the ultimate focus is, and my goal for 2024 is to become a more fit and healthy person. Well, then it starts right now, when the tendency could be to slip away. Maybe it's in the spending, right? Because finances, oftentimes the holidays, it can really pinch our wallets and can be really a detriment to overall our success in the next year. And we go overboard. We just buy too many gifts. We go out of bounds when it comes to, utilizing our credit card and not thinking or planning this out. And, it comes from a good place. We want to be generous and being a cheerful giver. And making, an experience for our kids or those in our family to, feel appreciated. However, we could do it with more diligence, with more intentionality, and more of a central focus, So that way, we're still celebrating these great moments, but at the same time, we're setting ourselves up for success in order to be ultimately even more successful in the course of the next year. And possibly for you, it's your faith and it's digging deep. And, what better time now than when we reflect upon, these days that are ahead of us. And after all, in the Catholic tradition, the Eucharist means thanksgiving, to give thanks to God for all the blessings that He's given to us. And whatever your faith tradition is, to be grateful for the things that you do have, for maybe that's your health, maybe that's your well-being, maybe that's, the people in your life that just continue to pour positivity and goodness into you, those that you have to love, and knowing that your Creator loves you, that God loves you, that you are uniquely made. And then really taking that and executing upon it fully. What do I mean by that? Because when you look at what you're going to do, who you're going to become in the next year, it is going to be the person that you actually sit down right now and you think and you dream and you desire. Because dreamers, it doesn't happen enough. Oftentimes when people get to like 30 years old or so, the dreams go out the window. They think, oh, now I got my career, I started a family, and the things that I had aspired to achieve, the levels that I hoped to get to, the huge aspirations that I had, the mountains that I wanted to climb in order to get to the top at this juncture of my life, well, that has subsided. Now I have to settle for where I am, and it is what it is. Actually, that is the farthest from the truth. That's only your truth if you accept it in that. Instead, you can defy the odds. You could be someone who's doing it differently. You can say, hey, you know what? That's not going to be me, because I'm not going to allow society or what other people say is the norm to define who I am. Instead, I'm going to rewrite my history right now by doing it differently in my life. Why? Because it matters to me, and this is my journey and my future. I'm not going to, there's not going to be able to put a label or some kind of limitation on who I am. Why? Because you're created in a beautiful manner. You are unique and one of a kind, and you are the only person that will ever be able to run the race that you are living right now. But the beauty is that you could change the way that you're running. You can decide today, I'm going to run differently. I'm going to run stronger, faster. I'm going to go this way or that way. And there's only one person that decides it, and that is you. And I believe that that is true. And I believe that you can do this if you really want to. Sometimes it's about remaining focused and understanding that we have to set priorities in our life. We have to look at, who we're hanging around, who's around our Thanksgiving table. Right? Who are we spending the most time with? Sometimes around the holidays, yes, I understand that not all of us are coming from families where we're going to be around the table and enjoy, the time with every single person. I understand there are obligations we have to fulfill. Okay, that doesn't mean that it's bad or that it's good or it's indifferent. Here's the thing. You get to choose the majority of your time who you're spending it with. So are you spending it with people who are continuing to push you to become better? Are you celebrating people? And are they celebrating you? Are they challenging you in order for you to become a better version of yourself? And that could be cliche in the way that it sounds, but what I'm trying to say here is your goals. Your goals, you set goals, you speak it into existence. Are you actually trying to work towards them, or is it just a figure of your imagination? Because I'm willing to bet if you're honest and truthful for yourself, there's some people out there who are listening to this right now, and I was one of them at one point in my life, that I would write things down, even write them down, or even say them, even on the regular, but I wasn't doing them, right? I wasn't focusing enough and saying, I'm going to be intentional about my time today, and instead of turning on the TV and watching Netflix or this game, I know that I have this goal of learning more in this area in finance. I have this goal of becoming more educated or sharpening my skill set in my job place so that way I can get that promotion or I can do that professional development so I can take that skill set to the next level so I can unlock this opportunity in my life so that way I can do something that I've always wanted to do, this, side hustle, whatever it is, because who knows, that could be the mechanism that swings the pendulum, and the potential can just fly off the charts. And who knows, in the next year, by concentrating those 3 hours a week, maybe that becomes your greatest asset. Maybe that becomes what you are ultimately wanting to do for the next several years of your life. You're going to learn, you're going to grow. There's no doubt it's going to help you and it's going to benefit you. But it's also going to benefit people around you because they're going to see that you're walking different, you're talking different, you're living a little bit more differently. And in doing so, they'll see that change in you having this transformation and coming out of your cocoon. Taking a step out of your comfort zone only happens when you set it into motion by setting those goals, by raising the standards in your life. It doesn't happen by sitting around on the sidelines. It doesn't happen from comfortability. It doesn't happen by saying, I used to do this and I used to have these thoughts and these dreams, but I'm just going to allow them to be dormant. That's sad. That's not life to the fullest. That's not you at your greatest potential. So stop doubting yourself. My encouragement to you today is to believe in yourself and believe in the people who believe in you. The great Tim Tebow said that. When you look at the life of a guy who played the highest level of college football, he won the Heisman Trophy, the national championship. He was the it in college football. And so many people, though, even when he was there at the top of his game, they doubted him when it came to the pros. And what did he do? And for people who don't like him and that's not a fan, okay, they're going to be naysayers. They're going to be doubters. They're going to be haters. Let them do what they're going to do. Let them say what they're going to say. He still went after it. And he went on to help to lead the Denver Broncos to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers in the playoffs. He threw for 316 yards and had a great victory. And even though he didn't have the opportunity fully, or maybe some people say his career got cut short, what is he doing now? Well, he's doing a lot of things. Well, he was being prepared and equipped to be a great announcer, right? A great analyst, but even more than that, his true passion of impacting lives, right? Of setting up orphanages and hospitals and the Tim Tebow Foundation and Song, and the list goes on, right? That's somebody who wanted to live a life of passion and conviction, a life of impact in other people's lives. What are you doing today in order to impact your own life for tomorrow? Because if you're somebody who's a go-getter, if you're getting after and you're chasing down your own dreams and your destiny, and you actually say, hey, I'm going to prioritize the things that I want to do in this next year. And I'm going to be thankful for the gifts and the talents and the abilities that I've been blessed with in order to maximize the potential that I have, in order to level up and to bust through the ceiling and to say, I'm doing it now and there's nobody that's going to stop me. What happens is greatness. Greatness is born out of adversity. Beauty comes from the ashes, and the good things that are on the horizon will actually be enjoyed by you, and you will have a celebration the next time that you reflect on your life. See, you will never regret, even if you were to fall, you were to quote unquote fail. And I don't think of it as failure, okay? Maybe it's delayed success. And I say that because if you worked really hard at something, you were putting your whole heart, mind, and soul into whatever it is that you would desire to achieve in 2024, and it starts right here, right now, and you didn't reach that level yet, well, guess what? It's delayed gratification. Most people want that success to come to them overnight. It's not going to happen that way. It's just like your finances, right? You're investing. You have money, you put it away. You invest it into the market. There's a rise and a fall, and there's a lot of factors that happen in the economy. Eventually, in 30 years, you take it out, and that thing is 10x. Well, the thing that you're trying to chase down right now, the goal that you have, right? Whether that's in your health, in your wealth, in relationships, in your education, whether that be in a talent, in some kind of new career, entrepreneurship that you're chasing down, you have to stay the course. You have to stay the course. As much as the seasons are changing, I was outside raking leaves, literally taking care of my yard and property for like 20 hours this past weekend. People say it's ridiculous. One thing it allows you to do is to think. One thing it allows you to do is to plan. One thing it allows you to do is the time and space to be outside and to dream. Because the dreamer is going to have something to look forward to next year. It's going to keep you going. It's going to keep you motivated. What's helping you to get up in the morning to say, I'm chasing it down, versus just staying status quo, versus slipping down and falling down a slope where you're like, all right, my life has already reached the pinnacle, the apex. What kind of life is that? I don't care if you're 20 years old, 30 years old, 40, 70 or 80 years old. Find something, right, that you're going to improve your own self, that you're going to become better at, that you're grateful for. You received the blessing, but you're going to invest it back, right? Do something today that will then move the chains a little bit, and progression and time again, you do that over the course of 365, man, the results are going to be amazing. You're not going to see them again right away, but you will see them in the future. There's no doubt about it. And it might look different than you think it will look today, but that's okay. You have to forward think. You have to project. You have to have things to look forward to, because when you do, the journey of life becomes that much more flavorful. The journey of life becomes that much more enjoyable. Then you become animated, excited. And there are things that will not only motivate you, will inspire you, but like Ed Milet says, you become aspirational. Because people who are aspirational are people that others look at and they want to not only emulate, but they see the systems they built in their life. They look at how they're doing things, and then they want to recreate it in their own way, in their own life, in order to make sure that they're unlocking their potential, to make sure that they're factoring in, I can do something and vibrate at a different frequency. That is a beautiful thing. Those are high achievers. Those are people living life to the fullest. Those are not people living on the sidelines. Those are not people who are just, putting their money right now in a bank that is losing 8% because of inflation every single month. No, instead, they are investing, right? They're hunting down new opportunities. And when it comes to your finance, you're hunting down new opportunities and you're setting yourself up for success, so that way you have that cash available in order to invest it in the real estate when the market comes down to a place where you can get a loan for a less amount. Or you're looking for ways to, leverage your ability to factor in something else as an asset that will be a passive income stream to help you to get to the next level. If you ran your life like a business, if you ran your life and yourself like a sports franchise, right? I think I'm a big Buffalo Bills fan, okay? They went to 4 Super Bowls in 4 years. A lot of people say, well, they lost all of them. That is true. However, they went there, and you got to be there to have a chance to dance. You got to get in it to win it. Well, you're not even getting in your life if you're sitting on the sidelines and you're just tabling all the time your dreams. You're just putting off to the side and shoving it in the back, or putting it on the back burner. No, we want this thing burning full throttle. We want this thing right out in the front and in the center. And you have to say it, and you have to make it known. Not to be arrogant or egotistical, absolutely not. But if you share this sometimes with a few people, then they can help you to stay accountable and help you stay on track. They will challenge you to make sure that it's taking place. At the end of the day, though, you have to be accountable to yourself. Other people, they can cheer you on. They can help you. You can get motivation from them, but there are going to be days where you don't want to do it. Absolutely not. You don't want to wake up at 5 a.m. before your 16-hour shift to work out and make sure that you're physically fit, right? You're going to say, hey, I can sleep in a little bit more today. But guess what? In that day when you slack, that's where you're going to lack. But in that day where you say, I'm going to rise, that's where you're going to absolutely do that. You're going to rise up, and you're going to get to that new level that nobody can take away from you. I'm excited about this because I understand that I was sleepwalking through life for far too long. But you yourself, you might wake up right now and say, hey, this is a season of thanks. This is a season of growth. This is a season of getting to the next level that's right there on the other side of the horizon. And it's out there for me and for the taking. It's out for me and for the making. Are you going to be a history maker, or are you going to be a history taker? What are you going to do with the life that you have right now? You might say this is intense. Well, guess what? Your life needs to be intense. If you're not raising the temperature, if the heat isn't coming on in your life, I don't know what you're doing, because you're going to get frozen out, right? The world is a cold, hard place. This is the truth. There's going to be things that are going to come your way that are tough. Are you going to be tougher? Are you going to have the ability to sustain and maintain during seasons where it's really difficult, where you're not feeling like it, but you do it anyway because you realize, yes, understand, if I slip right now, in a matter of a month or so, I'm going to see that result, and it's not going to be good. I'm going to see the negative impact it's going to have. I'm going to see the downward tailspin that my life is going to turn into. On the converse side, right, when you're working hard at something And you have to understand delayed gratification, but you have to be looking 6 months to a year out ahead. You have to realize that growth is going to take a substantial amount of time, but you will see those results if you stay after it. If you're disciplined enough, if you're intentional enough, if you do it and you're hungry and you're humble, right? And if you do those things, that fire keeps stoking within yourself, but you have to have that mechanism, right? It might be that thing like, let's go, or, a snap of the finger, or some kind of mantra, right? Life to the fullest. And when I do that, man, I get animated. I get excited. It reignites and reminds me of what I'm aiming for. So, some key tangible takeaways today. What do you have to do? You got to reflect. You have to look back. You have to carve out some time. It might be a half an hour. We're not talking about an immense amount of time. We're talking about half an hour. To go back and to look at the last year of your life, to look at the blessings, to look at the people who came your way, to look at, all right, these are the things that I am grateful for. These are the talents that I have. These are the abilities. This is something that I'm inclined to do. These are then desires that I have. That's part 2. What are your goals? What are your desires? What do you want your life to be? How do you want your life to be different in 2024? Where do you want to be in the next year? What do you want that to look like when it comes to your relationships, when it comes to the paycheck that you're bringing home, when it comes to your travel, when it comes to the experiences you're able to afford and to do with other people? What are the things that are exciting you? Because things that are exciting you, right? The things that are on your mind and in your heart, those are the things you need to be chasing down. That's what life is about. Today at the lunch table, at my job, I'm talking with my colleagues at Novice Clothing Company, and it's amazing. We're discussing, some funny things, all right? So the first thing, I don't even know how this came up in conversation, but it's worth mentioning here, okay? And I'm going to get to the point of it. And it is, someone mentioned gout. And if you're eating a lot of like sweets or red wine and lots of steak and all that stuff, men can, during the holidays, right? They could get gout. It's this thing. And a lot of people didn't even know what we were talking about. But why are we talking about that? Because then it led into something that was actually meaningful. And it was like that TikTok trend that was going around a little time ago. And, girlfriends or wives were asking their husbands about, how often are you thinking about the Roman Empire? And this was like a spoof, a spin-off. It was something to be funny, right? And some of them would be like, well, at least like 2 or 3 times a week. 2 times a week? That's great. No, we know that that's not true. But why is this relevant to talk about right now? Because what are you thinking about 2 or 3 times a week? What is on your mind? What is continuing to re-enter your life where you say, hey, I can't get my mind off of this, but I still haven't done it yet? What is that thing? Because that thing is what you need to chase down in the next year. That thing, that opportunity, that dream, that desire, that, business, that new creation, stepping out of your comfort zone to that level to chase it down. It's time. Right now is time. A lot of people are saying, well, I'm not ready yet. Well, what is going to magically happen to make you ready? No, right now is the time to get it done. Right now is the time to start. Right now is time to get that ball moving in the right direction. You'll feel so good about it. We're afraid. Why are we afraid? Because we don't want to fail. Why are we afraid? Because it's going to take work. It's going to be hard. But guess what? All the great things in this life don't come easily. You are not made for comfort. You are made for greatness. And because of your greatness, you're going to do something in your life that is going to stand out, that's going to be amazing, that's going to breathe life into other people, that's going to help to move a pendulum in your life, in your family, in your situation, in your town, and in your workplace. And people are going to live differently because of you. Do you believe that about yourself? Do you believe that you're that unique and that influential? But guess what? You will never be that if you just sit there and you're afraid. Have some courage. Take heart. Understand who is on your side, right? If you're someone of faith, you understand that God is walking with you. He's with you through the shadow of doubt, but he's also with you through all the blessings of your life as well, because that is the time to do it. Now is the time to reflect, to look, to grow, to understand that you can do this today. And today is the first day for the rest of your life that you're going to live in a different manner. So my hope is that during this Thanksgiving season that you can enjoy the ride. Look back, reflect, understand the blessings that you have, but then ultimately look forward. Look forward to the things that you want to achieve in the future. Set those dreams high, set those standards higher, and to carve and to enjoy the ride, but also to create the space and the time and place in your life where you can then accelerate. Because you hit that gas pedal full throttle. If you keep going after it, eventually you'll get there, and you'll get there probably faster than you would have realized. Have some courage. Understand that life is a beautiful blessing. Understand that your life is everything that you want it to be, and that you could create it, and that you have a beautiful destiny that's out there for the taking. As always, if you enjoyed a segment of this podcast or those that I've put out there, I ask that you share it with other people. It's the best way for the show to grow. Understand that you check out ef3life.com. My best-selling books, Winning with Money, Dollars and Cents, The Saint Next Door, and Fire Burning Within. Great resources, lots of things online for you. All of these episodes of this show, the Life to the Fullest podcast, are free, and it's for you to share with other people, to inspire and to strive and to continue to be the best that we could possibly be together as this community. And I hope that you have a blessed time, a season of thanks, and you're able to really set that ball in motion and to look forward to the things that you are going to chase down in the next year. God bless you. And as always, keep living life to the fullest.